What if I told you that a circus with no animals became one of the world's biggest entertainment empires? Or that a game console designed for non-gamers outsold the competition by over 100 million units? Or that a single coffee pod revolutionized how we start our mornings? These companies didn't just tweak their products, they broke down entry barriers and changed the game entirely. How? With something known as blue ocean strategy. In a world where businesses fight tooth and nail for market share, these brands didn't just compete, they created their own playing field, turning competition irrelevant by unlocking markets previously ignored or underserved. Today, we're diving into how blue ocean strategy turns struggling industries into billion-dollar opportunities. So grab your gear, let's explore the uncharted waters of business innovation. Coined by W. Chan Kim and Renee Maubourne, blue ocean strategy isn't just about innovation for innovation's sake. It's about solving the barriers that keep potential customers out of an industry and creating a leap in value. In a traditional red ocean, businesses fight over the same pool of customers, constantly trying to outperform rivals with incremental improvements in price or features. It's a crowded, fiercely competitive space where profits shrink and the rules of the game are set. But true visionaries don't just look at what their competitors are doing. They look beyond. Where others see competition and scarcity, they see uncharted waters, the blue ocean. This is where companies create new demand and open up entirely new market spaces, often by lowering barriers or redefining customer experience. In a blue ocean, you're not fighting over a shrinking pie, you're creating your own pie, big enough to satisfy a whole new set of customers. Now let's explore 5 brands that did exactly that, starting with a game console that invited everyone to play. In the world of gaming consoles, Nintendo changed the game in more ways than one with the Nintendo Wii. They made gaming accessible to millions who had never considered it before. In the mid-2000s, gaming was dominated by Sony's PlayStation and Microsoft's Xbox. These brands focused on graphical power, complex controls, and immersive, story-driven games. But here's the catch. This created high entry barriers. Gaming required technical know-how, fast reflexes, and a lot of free time. Many potential customers, casual gamers, families, seniors, were left out. Nintendo saw this gap and asked a revolutionary question. What if gaming wasn't just for tech-savvy gamers, but for everyone? Enter the Wii. With its intuitive motion controls, Nintendo tore down the technical and psychological barriers that kept people out. Suddenly, gaming was as simple as swinging a remote. No complex button combos, no intricate storylines. It was fun, social, and easy to pick up, even for grandma. By opening up gaming to a broader audience, Nintendo created a blue ocean of casual and family gamers. They didn't compete with Sony and Microsoft on graphics or complexity. Instead, they redefined what gaming meant. As a result, the Wii sold over 100 million units worldwide, tapping into markets that other consoles never even touched. The takeaway, Nintendo identified and solved the biggest entry barrier in gaming: complexity. They showed that sometimes simplicity is the most powerful form of innovation. From making gaming simple to making coffee luxurious, next up, Nespresso, a brand that redefined what it meant to enjoy coffee at home by solving a common barrier: accessibility to quality. In the coffee world, there was a wide gap between the convenience of instant coffee and the craftsmanship of espresso. Making quality espresso at home required expensive equipment and expertise, too complicated and intimidating for the average consumer. This left a huge portion of the market underserved. People who wanted high-quality coffee but didn't have the time or skill to make it. Nespresso bridged this gap with single-serve pods that offered premium coffee at the push of a button. They didn't just sell coffee, they sold an experience. Sleek machines, a high-end brand image, and exclusive membership programs turned brewing coffee into a luxurious ritual. Nespresso created a blue ocean by breaking down the 2 major barriers in home coffee making: the complexity of traditional espresso and the low-quality image of instant coffee. They offered a product that was both premium and easy to use, opening up a new category of coffee drinkers who wanted the best of both worlds. Today, Nespresso accounts for over 30% of the global coffee pod market, with annual revenues exceeding $6 billion. The lesson: by solving the accessibility issue, Nespresso created a market of coffee connoisseurs who could enjoy luxury at home, no barista required. Now let's switch from coffee to cosmetics and a company that made beauty ethical and inclusive. The Body Shop didn't just sell skincare, They created a movement by addressing the ethical barriers keeping conscious consumers away from the beauty industry. In the 1970s, the beauty industry was filled with luxury products, but there was a growing demand for brands that cared about more than just appearance. The biggest barrier: ethics. Animal testing, unsustainable sourcing, and chemical-laden formulas turned off environmentally conscious consumers who felt alienated by the mainstream beauty market. Anita Roddick saw this untapped market and built the Body Shop around values of cruelty-free, natural, and ethical products. They weren't just selling moisturizers. They were offering customers the chance to align their beauty routines with their values. The Body Shop created a blue ocean by tapping into the rising wave of environmentalism and ethical consumerism. They didn't compete on price or glamour. Instead, they solved for the moral barrier that kept conscious consumers away from mainstream beauty brands. By doing so, they grew into a global brand with over 3,000 stores in 66 countries by the 2000s. The Body Shop broke through the ethical barrier, showing that sometimes the key to success isn't about more features, it's about deeper values. While we're on the subject of breaking boundaries, let's talk about a circus that flipped the script on entertainment. Cirque du Soleil didn't just tweak the circus formula, they completely reinvented it by removing traditional barriers. By the 1980s, the circus industry was in freefall. Animal rights concerns, rising costs, and dwindling attendance were killing traditional circuses. People saw the circus as old-fashioned and lowbrow. But Cirque du Soleil identified a different audience, one that craved sophisticated, artistic performances, and created a new category of live entertainment. They removed the most expensive and controversial element, animals, and focused entirely on human performance, blending theater, music, and acrobatics. The result was a show that appealed to adults willing to pay a premium for a unique cultural experience, far from the traditional family-oriented circus. Cirque du Soleil solved for the stigma barrier, making circus performances sophisticated and appealing to a high-end market. By shifting focus, they turned a dying industry into a billion-dollar global phenomenon, with shows running across the world and annual revenues of over $800 million. Sometimes, the barrier isn't technological or financial, it's cultural. Cirque du Soleil redefined the circus as art, opening it up to a completely new audience. And finally, let's raise a glass to a brand that turned wine into an everyday experience. Yellowtail Wines didn't just simplify wine, they removed the barriers of complexity and pretension that kept new wine drinkers away. In the early 2000s, the wine industry was dominated by tradition and complexity. Wine connoisseurs discussed tannins and terroirs, and for the average consumer, it all felt too complicated. The barrier? Intimidation. Many potential customers didn't feel knowledgeable enough to confidently buy wine. Yellowtail changed all that. They simplified the wine buying experience with two straightforward categories, red and white. No complicated labels, no intimidating jargon. The brand made wine approachable, fun, and easy to understand, targeting casual drinkers who were put off by the pretension of traditional wine culture. By solving the intimidation barrier, Yellowtail created a blue ocean of casual wine drinkers who had previously stuck to beer or simpler beverages. Within a few years, Yellowtail became the top-selling wine brand in the US, accounting for 20% of the import market and selling millions of cases annually. Yellowtail simplified wine, creating a space where new drinkers could feel confident and welcome. From Nintendo's gaming revolution to Yellowtail's wine democratization, these companies didn't just play the game, they changed the rules by solving entry barriers that kept new consumers out. The key to Blue Ocean strategy. It's not just about beating the competition, it's about finding new ways to create value. Whether it's simplifying a product, reaching a new audience, or breaking down cultural barriers, these brands didn't follow the market, they redefined it. So, what do you think? Which barriers do you see in the industries you follow? What's a brand that you think could create its own blue ocean? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more fascinating business stories and strategies.